You call it laziness, but it's not that. You're just scared frozen. Fear keeps you stuck. Every single morning, always, you see the work. Fear whispers constant warnings. What if you fail? What if they judge? What if it hurts? So you procrastinate daily, calling yourself lazy instead. But laziness doesn't feel like this anxious, heavy weight on you. Laziness is calm and careless, not this constant, exhausting mental battle. This is fear disguising itself as laziness, keeping you trapped every day. You fear starting because what if you discover you're not good enough? You fear putting yourself out there, vulnerable and exposed to criticism. You fear the work will be hard, painful, and you won't make it. You fear success itself and the massive change it would bring. So you convince yourself tomorrow will be better for starting fresh. But tomorrow comes and fear is still there, whispering same warnings. This cycle repeats until you feel completely stuck and hopeless about changing. But here is the truth that changes everything for you now. Fear only has power when you believe its lies completely and fully. What if failure isn't death, but simply feedback, showing you the way? What if judgment from others says more about them than you? What if the pain of staying stuck becomes worse than trying? What if change is simply growth, not loss of who you are? You realize fear has been lying, protecting you from nothing real. The moment you stop believing fear is the moment it loses control. So you decide to take one tiny action despite every warning. You expect catastrophe, but nothing terrible happens at all to you. In fact, you feel lighter, stronger, more capable than before acting. You take another action and another, building momentum slowly forward each time. Each small success proves fear was completely lying about everything all along. You realize you were never lazy, you were just terrified and paralyzed. You forgive yourself for all the lost time trapped in fear. You understand that courage isn't absence of fear, but action despite it. You start to see challenges as opportunities, not threats anymore now. You embrace discomfort, knowing it's where all real growth happens, always. You celebrate each tiny step instead of only focusing on distance. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start with what exists. You focus on progress over perfection, building consistency every single day. You surround yourself with people who encourage courage, not fear dwelling. You learn to reframe failure as valuable data, not personal worth. You develop systems and habits that make action easier than avoidance. You notice fear still whispers, but you don't believe it anymore. You become someone who acts despite fear, not someone without it. Your past self who called themselves lazy would be so proud. You are not lazy, you are simply brave and courageous now. Every morning you wake up with purpose instead of that heavy dread. You tackle important tasks first, knowing they will actually make you stronger. You feel genuine pride in your progress instead of just constant shame. Your to-do list gets completed because action feels natural now, finally. You start things immediately instead of endless planning and delaying cycles. You experiment and try new things without needing guaranteed success first. You ask for help and feedback instead of hiding in isolation. You replace self-doubt with positive affirmations daily that strengthen your mind. You celebrate every small victory without waiting for big wins to feel proud. You focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. You recognize fear's voice is not your own, but an illusion. You take deliberate steps every day toward your goals, no matter how small. You choose action over comfort, despite discomfort and uncertainty always now. You understand progress isn't perfect, but always moving forward consistently each day. You let go of toxic judgments, both from others and yourself, completely. You realize that fear shrinking means your courage is growing stronger daily. You speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement every single morning. You find strength in each failure, finding new lessons and growth opportunities. You invite new opportunities by acting courageously every single day, consistently. You build momentum by aligning daily actions with your true core values. You release the need for perfection, accepting growth's messy process completely. You embrace vulnerability, knowing it leads to authentic connections with others. You forgive your past fears and embrace your emerging courage fully now. You let courage guide you instead of paralyzing fear anymore, ever again. You live boldly even when fear tries to whisper doubts occasionally now. You teach others courage by showing up every day authentically and bravely. You dream bigger dreams because fear no longer keeps you small anymore. You choose growth even when that means risking temporary discomfort, bravely always. You are now the brave, unstoppable person you were meant to be. And this courage is your true power that no fear can take away.